Hey, what's up you guys, it's Spartan, and today I'm going to be giving you guys my first impressions on the game called Back 4 Blood. This is basically Left 4 Dead's third game, and it has done some incredible things, I will say. So I will basically be giving you guys my pros and cons about this game, as well as how I feel about it, and giving like a little quick review based off of what I've seen from this game so far in its early access form. Alright, so before we get into the pros and cons of Back 4 Blood, what is this game and what do you do in it? So this is basically the predecessor of the Left 4 Dead series, and it shares a lot of similarities to that game because it has the same developers and the same company that made it. But there is some huge and major changes to the series in this game. Alright, so let's start about the pros of this game compared to the other Left 4 Dead series. So one of the pros in this game, in my opinion, is the amazing gunplay and the graphics. So the guns absolutely feel so satisfying to shoot, and they sound so good. And there's such a large variety of different weapons you can use, and so many different like customizations you can do and upgrades you can do to each weapon, that it just feels really good compared to the old Left 4 Dead. I mean, the guns alone would be a reason to play this game, and how they feel. In my honest opinion, it is one of the best things about this game. And mix that in with the graphics of this game that are just insane when you compare it to the 10-year-old Left 4 Dead series. You can just tell, like, running around in this environment and using these guns is a sound enough reason to pay at least $30 for this game. And it just feels so satisfying, and all the different environments and atmospheres just feel so realistic and so engaging. Like, for example, one of my first games I actually had a difficulty card, or like a challenge card for the map that made everything completely fogged over, meaning that you can only see within like 10 or 15 feet in front of yourself. But for like being foggy, you got more money if you completed the mission. So I found that just really satisfying, and like a huge difference, because I played that map before, but like when you completely fogged over the map, it changed everything. It made it way more satisfying and way more beautiful. And it was a lot more difficult, but it was really satisfying to try out and play. Another major pro I would give to this game is that it is very well optimized. I mean, I had absolutely zero lag, zero stutters, and they also have a camera smoothing setting that makes this game feel so nice and flow so nicely. Like, I was running on Ultra with a 3070, 160 to 200 FPS on high demand situations. Like situations where there was hundreds of zombies on the field and tons of mutants, and I was running way above what I could actually process with my monitor. I mean, this is a really well optimized game, and you have to give it that. There's no lag, no stutter, and no nothing for a beta. I mean, this game is ready for the consumers. This studio actually finished their game before they put it out in beta and before they released it. So I am very happy for that, and that shows how good this studio really is compared to other studios. Alright, so another set of pros in my opinion would be the difficulty for this game. So for example, there is a large variety of special zombie like subclasses. So each special zombie has two different subclasses that change the variety and their like special attacks they can do against you, and it changes completely the gameplay and flow for each fight, because it's completely randomized. They can either grapple onto you, like for example, the Stinger can either make you completely stuck and kind of grappled, or he can shoot poison at you. So it's either poison darts, grappling, and like lunging or something like that. So there's a huge variety in enemies. And like, I believe the Charger in this game, he can either charge into you and grab onto you and start bashing you on the ground, or he can focus more on a AoE kind of attacks and kind of like a ground and pound bruiser class, where he has higher health and higher damage, but he can't kind of grapple onto someone. So it definitely adds a large variety to the enemies, and like the special zombies aren't always the same. So if you see a Charger, he won't always do the same thing every single time, and I think that adds a lot more variety to like veteran players in this game. Alright, so I know this pro I'm about to mention, and the last pro of this game, is something that not everyone will share the same opinion on, but in my opinion, this is a huge pro. But some of the old Left 4 Dead fans, like, and personally, my girlfriend, she's been playing Left 4 Dead for the past 10 years or 11 years, I think, since she was really young, like 9 or something. And she honestly did not like how much more difficult this game was. Like, she was running out of ammo all the time, she was going down really quickly, she was like having a max health of like 30, which is a little bit of a con. I'll talk about that later. But there's a lot more serious kind of like, this game is a lot more difficult than the previous games, and you actually have to think compared to the other Left 4 Deads. You can't just run around with infinite ammo anymore. So in this game, you always have to count your shots. You cannot go full auto the entire game and expect your gun not to run out of ammo. You will run out of ammo if you just kind of just spray and pray in this game. You will run out of ammo and you will die very quickly. This is a game where you have to count every single one of your shots and get as many headshots as possible, while also switching your guns back and forth based off the situations. So like, if you're indoors, I recommend using like your backup weapon, like your pistol, and if you're outdoors facing a horde, always use your primary weapon. And I found myself really enjoying this aspect of this game. So I was always using like high caliber rifle rounds to get as much ammo as possible, and like a kind of like high damage revolver as a backup to keep as much ammo in stock as possible. So I personally really like that feature. And every single safe zone, you can like buy ammo based off of how many points you got and how much gold you got like collected around the map. And you can also find ammo crates around the map, so if you're smart about it and you just count your shots and don't waste anything, you will have enough ammo. But that is something you definitely actually have to worry about now. And I feel like that is a really good thing to do, because a lot of times people just run ahead, full auto fire everywhere, and try to get as many kills as possible. And newsflash, this game, killing does not matter. Scavenging matters. Killing does nothing, which is realistic. If you kill the most zombies in the game, congratulations. And like, if you took 90% of the kills, congratulations, you did a good job. You're not going to get anything for it. And I actually kind of like that. So it focuses more on scavenging and doing like challenges and stuff to get gold, as well as keeping like awareness of your environment. Alright, so for the cons, for the bad thing about this game compared to the other Left 4 Deads. And honestly, I'm going to say there is not as much cons as there are pros, which is a really good sign for a beta game. So starting off, the biggest issue I found is that the campaign, with me playing only for a couple hours, is extremely boring and repetitive, in my opinion. I found a lot of the other modes extremely satisfying, like the versus mode, but this mode I just didn't find as fun as Left 4 Dead's for whatever reason. And I just think it's because the campaign has a lack of direction and is extremely long and very repetitive. I know they tried to fix things with like the cards, making some variety to the map, but just this feels like we've already done it 1,000 times over again, and it just feels very basic to me. And like, the campaign just feels like it was made as long as possible with like a variety of enemies, but they didn't really think about like they didn't really think about the story at all. Like, it just feels like you're mindlessly running around, shooting zombies and getting to safe house to safe house to safe house. There's like 50 levels in this game, and each level has like 3 safe zones. So it just ends up being like a complete grind to beat this game if you actually want to beat this game. And in my opinion, it's not even worth it at this point. It's just so repetitive, and I actually recommend doing the other game modes over this one, because you will find yourself really bored of this mode. Alright, but besides the campaign being bad, I do want to mention the AI are completely, just utterly stupid, basically. They are completely broken, they don't know how to shoot, and are like, for example, we had a grandma called Mom as a bot that would just stare at hordes of zombies with her shotgun and not do anything. She wouldn't shoot, she wouldn't kill anything, and like 90% of the time she was completely useless. And when she tried to pick up people, she would just kind of tease them, where she would like pick them up for a couple seconds and then like run away, and then come back, pick them up for a couple seconds and run away. So she literally does nothing. So if you guys expect to play this game by yourself with 3 other bots, think again. This will not happen. The bots are even worse than Left 4 Dead's 2, and you cannot use them. You need full 4 players in your team or you will lose. Because I guarantee you, if you played by yourself and had 3 bots, they would never pick you up, and they would never do any damage, and you would never beat this game, and it would definitely not be worth playing. So the bots in this game are really, really stupid, and they need to work on that as soon as possible before release. Alright, so the difficulty. So the next con is that there is no difficulty options for campaign. The only options they have is 3 different difficulties, and one is way too easy baby mode. The other is a normal base mode that they intended for the game. And then the next one, the third one, the hardest one or whatever, is basically you spawn in and you die in 2 seconds and your entire team is wiped. There is no in between. They only intended you to use the normal mode for this game mode. There is no difficulty sliders. So it basically makes it so that you are forced into one difficulty, and honestly they shouldn't even had it in the first place because it's completely stupid. In the baby mode, you one-shot everything and you're a god and never go down. And then in the hardcore mode, you go down in a matter of a couple seconds, and there's no way you could possibly win that mode, especially since you're counting your shots, and it's just not possible. Like for example, in the hardest difficulty, it takes 3 to 4 shots to bring something down, and then it takes like 100 shots to bring down a special, and there are like hundreds of common zombies. You by yourself cannot get through any of the missions without running out of ammo. I promise you. The only way you can beat the hardest difficulty is just running straight through. So basically either boring, you can't beat the game, and then normal difficulty. So it's completely useless and pointless to have in the game. Alright, so another con about the combat actually this time, which is my one of my few cons, because the combat feels really good and the gunplay feels really good, but it has a weird stamina system. They added a new stamina system that makes it so you can only run for about 3 seconds, like you're 500 pounds, and then you run out of stamina and you just stop moving. And also, whenever you shoot while like aiming in and backing up, you move like a turtle. So it is impossible to get away from enemy zombies by shooting and backing up like the previous games. The only way you can actually like fight in this game is by shooting, and then when you need to reload, turning around, running the other way while reloading, and then turning back around and shooting. Like, there is no such thing as moving while shooting anymore in this game, and it feels really, really weird. Alright, so that brings me to my next point. The range in this game is completely and utterly broken. I mean, every single gun in this game, I'm talking about like sniper rifles and any kind of long, high caliber weapon, only has an effective range of 10 feet. I tested this out for myself. If you go to the training range and you shoot at the targets, you'll realize your damage drop-off point is within 5 or 10 feet. And then you start doing half damage. I mean, your guns don't do any damage at about, I'd say, about 50 feet, 100 feet about. So it makes absolutely no sense. And like your giant sniper rifles will stop doing any damage, or will start doing half damage anything past 10 feet. Which is just really, really stupid. Like, you are shooting BB guns at this point. You are shooting water guns. That is basically the range of the weapons of this game. And I understand they want you to have like an incentive to upgrade your barrel to make your range longer, but it makes no sense. And you're basically shooting water guns because the range is just stupid. And you start like 5-shotting anything above like 10 feet away, and it's really, really stupid. And you'll see that a lot in my gameplay. Like, I'll stop doing any damage anywhere past about 40 feet. And keep in mind, the effective range of most like assault rifles and AK-47s are like 100 meters, or like their damage drop-off point is like 300 meters, even though they recommend 50 meters. But in this game, it's more like 3 meters is the damage drop-off. So most people won't even notice that, but I very, very much noticed it. It like took away from that realism they were going for, and it really, really ruined the immersion I felt. Alright, so there you go. Some gameplay, some pros and cons, and just some first impressions of this game for the beta. And in my opinion, this game is a pretty solid game. It feels really polished and really good. It does have some major issues, and I could definitely see them adding microtransactions in, which could definitely ruin this game. Because just based off of how much customization there is, and also like being like the weapons do increase damage the more you buy stuff. So I could see them like making it a pay to win game. And if they do that, I would immediately not recommend this game. But for now, based off of no microtransactions and a lot of like good gunplay feel and graphics and really polished gameplay, I could definitely say and definitely recommend you guys to try this game out. Especially try it out during the open beta to see if you like that campaign and if you like the survival and the versus modes. Now, if you don't like the campaign, that's not the biggest deal, because honestly it's pretty repetitive and it's a little boring. But if you like the versus, you can put a lot of hours into the versus because there's a lot of different variety. But overall, the campaign is pretty mediocre. It's repetitive, but the gunplay is fun, and the versus mode is complete 10 out of 10. So I definitely recommend you guys try this one out. So I hope you guys enjoyed that kind of longer ranty video and found anything useful from this. I played about 15 hours of it so far with my girlfriend, and those are all the pros and cons we could come up with together. So make sure to leave in the comments if you guys have any more pros or cons, or if you guys have an opinion on this game so far and if you've tried it out. Let us know. So I'll see you guys in the next one, and peace out, Spartans.